2024 has literally been the year of layoff, bankruptcies, inflation, unemployment, you name it. This was the year. And we're going to look at some of all these numbers and kind of sum it all up and see where this is going to go so you can actually make an informed decision in 2025 what to do with your finances and where this is all going. So let's look at bankruptcies first. So we had some heavy hitters file for bankruptcy this year. Evergrande Real Estate, $300 billion in debt. That was that Chinese real estate developer, right? WeWork had $15.1 billion in debt. Red Lobster had over $1 billion in debt. And Tupperware had liabilities between $1 and $10 billion. Spirit Airlines, people said in my comment section, so funny, they said, Spirit will never file for bankruptcies. You're a fearmonger. Here we go. Mountain a loss over $2.4 billion in debt since 2022. So they accrued $500 million almost a year, but it probably went up. So then what do we got? Norfolk, battery manufacturer with the EV hype. I can't believe it. Financial difficulties due to $5.8 billion in debt. The Body Shop filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection. The 99-cent store filed for bankruptcy protection. Joanne, the arts and crafts retailer, doesn't say how much that they had. And then a nursing facility, also over $1.1 billion in debt. So as you see, it is absolutely crazy to see all these bankruptcies. Now we're going to look at these layoffs. Check out this picture I got up here. Citibank, 20,000. Amazon, 12,000. Boeing, 17,000. Intel, 15,000. Bella Media, 4,800. Tesla, 15,000. UPS, 14,000. It just keeps on going. It just keeps on going. So this is just absolutely brutal. This is just not good. It is absolutely tremendous to see all these bankruptcies. All these places had really difficult times actually generating a profit. Hey, just really quick, please hit that like and subscribe button. You're most likely not subscribed, and it doesn't cost you anything to click that like button, so please do it for me. This would help me grow the channel. Thanks. Profit. And as I said, it's like we are in this phase where cheap debt, all these CEOs, they were rock stars. They were heavy hitters. They were like, oh my gosh, this CEO is amazing. And now all of a sudden interest rates were up. They couldn't refinance their debt. It got expensive. Inflation, everything went up. And then all of a sudden banks said, oh, hold on, that might be a risky investment. We might not want to do that. Pulled back, higher interest rates. And all of a sudden these companies said, we're going to default. And now we're seeing people have no money. We're seeing people have no spare cash to spend on goods. Furniture store going out of business. Places like shopping malls are empty. And then you're like, hey, Black Friday and all this stuff was good. Yeah. When you're looking at scenarios where people just put stuff on credit cards, yeah, you can keep the ball rolling. And I just checked the other day, and this is no brag. I got like a $20,000 credit limit on one card, on just one card. And then I got the American Express where you can just spend as much as you want. But that doesn't mean that I have the funds to pay it back. And a lot of people think like, hey, I got an 8, 10, 20, 30, or $50,000 credit limit. That means I can spend that money. No, that's just what they give you. You need to pay it off at the end of the month so you don't snowball it into something that is not manageable. Just because they give you that line of credit basically on that credit card doesn't mean that you can spend that. And it just goes downhill from there. If you're spending all that money and maxing it out and just letting it sit and just paying the minimum balance, you're up for a rude awakening because it's just pure profit for them. They're going to just say, hey, we're going to take that 29% and we're just going to keep rolling it till you're going to stop paying. And I showed you guys these YouTube videos or these TikTok videos, these YouTube shorts and TikToks where these people just couldn't afford it anymore. They had, hey, I'm not spending, I haven't paid American Express in 6 months. So do you think that they're going to give you another credit card? Do you think that you're going to be able to buy a house if you haven't paid those? No, the credit score And all these things were not meant to protect you. They're meant to protect the bank. That is basically telling the bank, hey, do I want to lend them money? The higher the credit score, the more likely they're going to give it to you. And the less high credit score you got, that means you're a risky borrower. Has nothing to do about how great of a human being you are and how much money you make. No, it's just your capability of paying it back. And then they'll toss some other numbers together, and that's it. And we're going to see that credit, if interest rates aren't going to come down, it's going to dry up, because you, as a consumer that spends on those credit cards, if you don't pay them off, they're not making money, because they need to make that money with those 29% interest. When you look at it, like for these people that pay it off, and then it's like, oh, there's a 2% transaction fee, that's nothing. Yeah, they make a little bit of money, but that is spent probably all on marketing and all the other stuff. Where they make the money is when you carry the balance, because that racks up so quickly, and it goes against you, right? Because all of a sudden you had that balance, and all of a sudden it's $500, $600, $700 in just interest, because that new balance, it cures interest. So it is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So it's basically going up and up and up the balance, right? And then 2025 is going to turn around, and you're then finally going to say, you know what, I'm going to actually start working on my credit card bills. And then you're going to say, hey, I'm going to do that, so I'm going to start making bigger payments. And you're going to see how long it takes. It is spent so easily. And that's a huge problem with Amazon and all these other retailers. It is spent like with a click of a button. And then depending on your financial situation, it takes a long time to pay it off, because all these A-firm loans and all these other ones, they say, pay it off after 90 days. We're not going to ask you for a single payment for 90 days. So then they're like, hey, don't worry about it. Buy it now, no payment. Even car loans now, they say, you know what? You don't need to pay us today. You can start making the payments in the new year. So get through the holidays and do all that, and then we will start in 2025. And that is so you think like, I got a new car, you're feeling all good, and then you get used to 2 months of no payments. All of a sudden, they'll start saying, hey, we want that $1,000, because a car payment ain't cheap nowadays. And then you're like, oh gosh, I've misbudgeted, or I did all this other stuff, and there comes trouble, right? You're gonna be in trouble. So try not to get into more debt before the end of the year, so it's not gonna come and haunt you in early 2025. Because all these companies, I have not seen that they're rehiring in droves. They have not been saying, hey, 2025 turns around, it's gonna be a great time, and we're gonna hire like crazy. I saw the Salesforce guy give a speech, and he said, we're gonna use less software engineers, because we got all these tools now, these AI tools that help our existing software engineers be more efficient. So we can actually not need any new software engineers next year. So now the question is, and I want to hear it from you guys in the comments below, has the year of being a software developer, has the glory days stopped? Has the gravy train stopped, where you ask for these super high salaries and you get hired in an instant? And now we're seeing that, AI can do some of it, ChatGPT can do some of it, and all of a sudden, being a programmer, you got to be hyper specialized to get these super high value job salary offers, right? And that's in any job. If you're super specialized, you always get these high salaries, regardless in what field. If you're hyper specialized and there's a need, you're good, especially in tech. So let's see what that's gonna feel like starting in 2025, because man, I'm just like ready for this year to be over. I'm ready to just call it quit for this year and be like, man, let's let the new year come about and give all these job seekers that I'm talking to on a daily get more hope. And I'm seeing it so much now that a lot of you guys are struggling, been struggling for 18 months. And I'm asking you, what have you been doing for 18 months? Because it's not all ghost job listings. I help people every day get jobs. So what is it? Is it that you guys aren't following directions? Because man, when I'm looking for jobs, so when I'm hiring for my team, I get people that do not read the job description. And when I say what I want, they send me completely something else. So probably 80% of all applications that I get did not really read and follow the directions. So those are instant disqualifiers. So 80% of the jobs that I've hired for have been disqualified automatically because they didn't follow directions. And now the question's going to be is, if you've been looking for so long, if you did the same thing, you had 80% of your applications weren't even looked at because you didn't follow the directions, right? So now you're like, I send out every month, I send out 100. Well, you could have saved yourself 80 of them because you didn't read the directions, right? And then you send out 20 and you got maybe one call back or maybe none because it's not enough, right? So you maybe had to send out 50 or 60 good quality applications, but then you can kind of make the assumption that, hey, 80% I do wrong, so I need to send out even more. And now people are, what I'm saying is that people are willing to move. People are willing to, I've noticed that during COVID, people were way more demanding, and we're telling companies, no, I'm not going to do this, I want this and I want this. And they said, okay. And now we're seeing the opposite. The companies are saying, you know what, we're going to get you, and we're going to get you how we want it. So what do? They say, hey, you got to come back to the office. And now we're seeing it with the federal government. And in 2025, as soon as Donald J. Trump's taking office and Elon Musk, we're going to see if they're going to get everybody from the federal government back to the office and see how that's going to do for your local economy. Because then all of a sudden, living in a cheaper area isn't going to fly. You've got to be back to the office, wherever that's going to be. And it is going to be really, really interesting because, man, people have been struggling. I can't stress it enough because I also get these people that message me on LinkedIn and that email me that are just in their 30s, they're in their 40s, still living with their parents, and that have no issue if they're not going to get a job in a year or so because, hey, I'm living with my parents, I'm going to inherit the house, and it's going to be fine, you know? I'm going to get some money from my parents once they pass away, and so I can make a living, and I can do all that. But then I'm like, man, don't you want to make your own money? Don't you want to go on vacation? And some people are completely content with that, and they like it. And kudos to them. I just couldn't do it. I'd have to go out, do something. I can't just not do everything. Can't just not work every day, just sit around at the house, especially when the parents would drive me nuts. After a few days, I'm like, okay, you got to go back to work, got to do something productive, try to contribute. And that's just me, though. Not everybody thinks like that. But yeah, I get these calls, and then those are the ones that are entitled 18 months, 20 months, unemployed, and trying to tell me how I do my job. So it's absolutely crazy. So if you want to join the free job search community that I started, completely free, check out the link in the bio, check out up here, and yeah, be happy to see you. And yeah, this is going to be great. So about that, my journey has been going quite well. We're right now sitting at 50 members, trying to, in the free one, in the paid for one, I have about 51 now. So yeah, we're changing people's lives every day. A lot of people get a lot of value out of it, and there's still jobs. There's still a lot of jobs. A lot of people are still hiring, and now there's both sides of the coin, right? So when you're thinking about applying in December, you can say, hey, not a lot of people are applying because I had people actually drop out and say, I'll take a break over the holidays. I'll be back in January. So now you have less competition, but you also have less companies hiring. So I would give it my all. I would be like, hey, let me secure something during this time because I'd love to just start in 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now and get it all figured out. Because man, the earlier you get a job, the easier you're going to sleep at night. I'm telling you, because the bills just stack up and it goes quick. And what do I mean by that? It's just when you've been unemployed, and I have been unemployed, but I lived at my parents because I haven't been unemployed since my early 20s. I was 18, 19, maybe 20. The bills just come in and it's just kind of, you can put it on a credit card, but then after 30 days, that's going to turn interest, right? So it's going to snowball. It just gets into this bigger and bigger dilemma. And inflation is also up on the rise again. So it is not looking so great, but it is sure interesting time to be alive, because where's this all gonna go? Where are we all gonna go? Because we need jobs, we need money, we need to pay, we need to feed our families, we need to do our things. And yeah, it's gonna be absolutely interesting of a 2025. So let me know what your New Year's resolution is. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna job search, put it on hold? Are you gonna pay off debt? What is it? Are you gonna lose some weight? You're gonna, yeah, what are you gonna do in the new year? It's gonna be super, super interesting. And yeah, New Year's coming around. Are you gonna buy a house? Are you hoping for interest rates to come down? Because we will see. It's gonna be super interesting, and I'm along for the ride. So let me know in the comments below. If you want, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And please like and subscribe to this video if you like content like this. And yeah, Las Vegas looks gorgeous. Super nice sunset. It is pretty nice. So I will see you in the next one.